Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
Yo team, welcome back to episode 10. I am your co-host Brandon, and I'm going to be doing this podcast with my wonderful wife, Susie. We have been extremely fortunate to meet so many amazing people in this community at CrossFit Max. If you know someone, friend, family member that has been wanting to start CrossFit but has been a little bit maybe scared or intimidated, please send them to our link down below. They can book a free trial. We would love to meet them. We would love to grow this community, and we'd love to change as many lives as possible while helping people focus on their health and their fitness. All right, enough of the intro. Let's get into our mindset topic for today. Enjoy.
Trying to
3. Oh, gross. 3, 2, 1. We are live. Can we keep that edit into the podcast?
Absolutely not. I think.
Yo, I just crushed a workout.
Okay. Tell me about it.
I'm amped up.
I want to talk about myself, but we'll talk about you.
All right, last week I was feeling a little under the weather, so we're doing a funky schedule this week. So we're recording on a weird day. We're recording on Tuesday. Susie's going to edit all the podcasts today.
And then drops tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's going to be a lot of work for you, but got some clients this evening. Anyways, let's dive in. I'm feeling pretty amped up. I just finished a fun workout.
You're like...
The pre-workout is still in my system.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're giving me, I just took a dry scoop of pre-workout energy right now.
No, I took it like 2 hours ago, but
you're still like bouncing off the walls.
Just finished my protein shake though.
Your protein shake?
My protein shake. This is a really fun workout. You know when you finish a workout?
Like you're so pumped right now, you don't even realize how fast you're talking.
You know when you finish a workout and you're like, yeah, oh yeah, I killed that.
Yeah, actually, I love that feeling.
That's me right now. Anyways.
Okay, so tell me about your workout.
Oh, it was just, we did some bench press to start. We're on a 4x10 bench press cycle.
Nice.
This is week 3 of our training program,
Should
block.
I talk about how good your arms look in your outfit today, or we don't want to make the podcast listeners uncomfortable?
They'll make me blush on the podcast 2 weeks in a row.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm feeling good. Hopefully all you listeners are feeling good. Welcome back. We're on episode 10.
I feel like you can't just leave them hanging like that. You were doing bench press and what? We
did fun Metcon. It was 4 rounds, 4 time, 15 calories / 12 calories for the ladies on the rowing machine, 15 toes to bar, 15 push-ups, and then 45 double unders.
Ooh, I like that rep scheme.
Yeah, 15, 15, 15, 45 for the males.
I think anything under 50 double unders is a great amount of double unders.
Yeah. I prefer like hundreds of them.
I know. For someone like me who has weak calves, 50 or less is a very doable amount. Anything past 50, my calves start to cramp and it's not cute.
Just felt like I got into a good zone today. I was feeling good.
Nice. Does that mean you like fueled well? You're well rested? What's the secret sauce? Whenever
I feel like I crushed a workout, I always think about the last 24 hours. What did I eat? How did I sleep? How did I hydrate? What made me feel good? Because, so I guess we should say this for the listeners, but it's not random that you feel good. There's some workouts that you'll enjoy more than others because there's movements that you like. Right. But if you feel like you're really pushing hard at a good pace, like I was moving. Give myself some props here. But I felt like I was pushing at a hard pace. I was able to just turn my brain off and just fight through that discomfort, which we're talking about today, getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting.
But yeah, I felt really good in that workout. And so I always think about, okay, what did I eat for breakfast?
What time did you go to bed last night?
Yeah, how long did I sleep?
How much water have you had so far today? These are all rhetorical questions.
At least a liter.
It was a rhetorical question. It was just like things you should ask yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can recreate the magic that was 12 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully the rest of the gang enjoys it today.
I'm going to hit that workout at 5 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever your score is, I'm going to try my best to chase it.
I'm like recording this podcast and I'm thinking to myself, man, I crushed that workout. And 4 hours later, Susie's going to do this workout and she's going to beat me by a minute. I'm going to immediately hate myself.
And the good news is,
I
guys,
thought I did so well.
the good news is, guys, I will be editing the podcast today. So if necessary, I'll just pop back on to let everyone know how that went.
Yeah.
I'll just edit this into the end of our episode. Like, by the way, he crushed me, or by the way, I crushed him.
They'll have to tune into next week's episode to hear what happened.
Okay, stay tuned for next week where you find out which of us crushed the workout more than the other.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's enough banter topic.
Well, did I just do the banter topic?
Yeah, that was kind of enough banter.
Did you have a banter topic in mind?
No, that was it. I just wanted to talk about working out. I feel like it was fitting.
I mean, it is a CrossFit podcast, so.
So let's tell them where the roots of this podcast come from. What did we watch last week? We watched a pretty cool movie that your dad recommended to us. You want to tell them a little bit about it?
I'm like looking at him like, what movie did we watch? Oh my gosh. Yes, we watched is it Barkley? The Barkley Marathons movie?
Yeah.
It's the race that eats their young. That's what it's called. So the Barkley Marathons, the race that eats their young is what it's called. We watched it on YouTube, so it's like free. Anybody could watch it if you are interested. Highly recommend.
Highly recommend.
But
we'll tell them about it.
The premise is there is this trail race that happens in, I don't know where it was. Somewhere in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like Pennsylvania or something random.
I don't know. I actually don't know where it's from.
Okay.
But
anyways.
It's in some insane trails in the States.
Some crazy trails in the U.S. somewhere. And the concept of the race is it's just a mystery, basically. And so it's hard to get accepted to run the race. And when you do get accepted to run the race, every year that you participate, the race is slightly different. You have to do 100 miles of trail running over the course of 60 hours, which is just like ludicrous amount. And the 100 miles is probably like a low ball estimate. It probably is actually like 120 miles. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking in miles, not in kilometers. So it's really, really far.
Close to 200 kilometers.
Like 200 kilometers of running, and you have a maximum of 60 hours to accomplish it. And you have to do these loops in these crazy trails. And the trails are super wooded. They're not marked. You have to find your own way using only a compass and a map. It's just like this ridiculous thing. And I think over the last like 20 years of the race existing, there's only been 12 finishers ever of the hundreds of people who have ever participated.
It is such a crazy movie to watch.
Yeah, it's because the race is it's not just about being physically able to run for that much time. It's about being able to mentally stay strong through extreme conditions. Mm-hmm. It's about this desire to prove yourself or whatever.
Push yourself
to
beyond your limits. Yeah,
to dark place. And it's super interesting to watch. It's definitely like a special breed of human that goes to this event, and it's a different whole breed of human that completes the event.
The cool thing about this race is that it's broken into 5 loops. So they do one loop around, and
which is about 20 miles.
And then they pretty much end up at the camp, like the checkpoint. And then they can choose whether or not they want to bow out of the race or continue it. So they can come back to the camp. They could take a little bit of rest. They can change their clothes. They can eat some food. But time is ticking because they only have 60 hours to complete the 5 loops that they have to get done.
Right.
So it's not just like, hey, go for this 100-mile straight disgusting up and down trail race in these terrible conditions,
which would already be ludicrous.
Yeah, it's okay. Run 20-mile loop throughout, and for those of you guys who aren't comprehending how long this is, because I didn't truly understand, like 20 miles in my head, it's like, okay, it's a few hours.
No.
20 miles
in
is like 12 is essentially like 12. It takes them sometimes 12 to 15 hours to get done.
One loop.
A
singular loop out of the 5 that they are to complete.
Yeah. Essentially the fastest people do it in about 10 hours. which is so crazy to think about.
Yeah, and the amount of trails, there's literal rock climbing required. There's these super rough brush that they have to go through. The guys, they're coming back into the camp and they're bleeding everywhere from their legs. Yeah. They've got crazy blisters like you couldn't imagine.
Can we tell them the story of us starting this movie? When we started watching this movie, we see, it's a really cool intro to, they talk about the actual race and they explain it, the origin of it, and the funny things that they do in between. Like they put books at checkpoints that they have to rip out, and the books have like really hilarious names. Well, do you remember any of the names of the books? There were names that would mess with your mind, like forever, I don't know, crazy things. I don't remember the names, but they were.
I don't remember either. I don't know. It's like Death and Dying is the name of the book or something, you know?
Something to really mess with your name. And you have these bibs. If you're number 11, you go to the book at the checkpoint, you rip out page 11, and then you have to collect 11 pages or 11 page 11s from the different checkpoints throughout over the hours.
Yeah. Anyways,
so we started watching it, and there were some people that had like cargo pants on, and most people, I think there was only 50 people that do the race.
I think it's actually 40.
40 people do the race. And there's a bunch of people just wearing shorts because they're about to go for a massive run. And Susie,
I was like, what are these weirdos doing wearing cargo pants to trail run?
And cut maybe a minute, 2 minutes later, and you see these guys coming back from the first loop, or you see them, running their loop, and their legs are bleeding, slashed everywhere, cuts everywhere. And you start to understand, all right, this is not a normal trail race.
The severity of the situation.
Yeah.
And you quickly go, oh.
Yeah.
That's why those smart few were wearing cargo pants.
Yeah. And you're not allowed to, I think they only give you like a plain map.
Yeah.
And then you're allowed a compass. No GPS allowed. No, you're not allowed to use like your Garmin. You're not allowed to use anything except for a map. And you have to try to find your way through this 20-mile loop.
And there's nobody out on the course directing you. You are alone out there with the other runners, and they drop like flies. So by the end of it, there was only like 2 or 3 people who were actually still going. It seemed like a lot of people would do a loop, make it back to the camp, see their creature comforts, their warm car, their food, their family members, and they would kind of just say, you know what? I'm going to call it while I'm here, and I'm not going to go around again.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is where we wanted to have, this is the topic.
The inspiration of our topic for today.
Exactly. So when these runners finish a loop, we're talking roughly 15 hours later, anywhere between 10 to 15 hours later, they have the opportunity to just say, you know what, that was a big accomplishment. I'm bowing out of this. But there's people, I think they said 60% of the field or 65% of the field quit after the first loop. So there's only 40% left to be able to do the second loop, which is insane because it's not just a physical test. It's also an extreme mental test, because it's very easy when you go through that hard accomplishment of finishing 20 miles through those insane trails to just mentally say, hey, I'm done. I'm not going to be able to do another loop, or I'm not going to be able to do 4 more loops of this. So I'm just going to cut it right there.
Yeah. And I think, this is such an extreme example.
The most extreme.
The most extreme example. And we're not trying to apply this to everyday life, but it does make you think about the mental fortitude of people and the willingness to accomplish great things, and maybe the sacrifice and the mental strength and the mental toughness that it requires in order to accomplish great things.
And I think if we bring that to like people of the listeners to this podcast, the people who come to our gym, when you want to exercise, when you want to set goals, when you want to lose a few pounds or gain muscle or run a race or whatever that could be, get a promotion at a job, study hard for an exam, whatever that is, you have to go through this uncomfortable phase, and you got to push yourself if you want to do it. When you're doing a hard Metcon, you have to get into that uncomfortable state where your muscles are hurting, you're breathing heavy.
Your brain is telling you, you're tired, you should stop.
your brain is having this weird conversation with your body. And most of the time, it's not your body that's going to quit, it's your mind. So I think when I was watching this movie, I thought it was so interesting at that one part where people finish one loop and just call it there.
Yeah, I think that calling it there sort of represents in our daily life the temptations to give up or the temptations to skip your workout because you're feeling tired at the end of a long work day. You get in your car and you're like, maybe I'll just drive home instead of driving to the gym or whatever it is. And so we're just sort of acknowledging that in order to succeed, in order to get to where you want to be, in order to improve your health and improve your fitness, there are sacrifices that have to be made, and there are active choices that you have to choose to. At the end of a long work day, let's just use that example. You're in your car. Instead of choosing, you know what, it'd be just easier if I went home right now. I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. Instead, you get in your car. You make the choice to go to the gym. You choose to show up. You choose to put yourself in your workout. And maybe it's uncomfortable and maybe you are tired, but you're actively making that choice to better yourself and to bring yourself to whatever your goal may be, whether that's losing weight or maybe PRing a deadlift or something. You know, you're not going to get better if you don't put in the work, and putting in the work requires putting yourself in some uncomfortable situations.
For sure. And the people that say finished the actual race, spoiler alert, there is someone that finishes it.
Yes.
Those people don't even second guess it. Those people remove the temptation of I'm stopping after, or should I stop after my first
Yeah, they
loop.
don't ask themselves, should I stop?
It's hey, this is a quick pit stop, fuel myself, change my socks because they're soaking wet.
Ugh.
Like get my warmer clothes on, pack my things for another 15 hours and go. And that, if you look on the average person, the day-to-day stuff, we are tempted by so many things around us. Like you said, it's very easy to sit on your couch and watch Netflix, or it's very easy to grab a bag of chips that are super accessible as opposed to having, let's say, fruit on the side or vegetable on the side.
Right.
Like it's easy to grab processed foods in the grocery store as opposed to buying whole foods that might require you to prep them a little bit more. It's easier to Uber eat something as opposed to doing some meal prep on a Sunday when you might not want to do that.
Right.
So we have all these temptations around us, but the people who do really good at, let's say, targeting their goals and they want to lose weight and they lose the weight, and the people who want to run a marathon and they run a marathon, it's because they remove the temptations of ifs and what if.
Right.
Hey, I'm not going home right now. I'm going to the gym. My gym bag is already packed. It's in my trunk. I'm going to the gym right now.
I've made that commitment to myself. There's nothing that's going to get in my way. It
Monday,
doesn't matter how long my day was. It doesn't matter how tired I feel right now.
Yeah.
I've dedicated myself to going to the gym, so I'm going to go.
And then there's the process of like when you're in the gym, all right, I want to get stronger. Well, coach, these back squats are heavy.
It's heavy.
Put 5 more pounds on there. Can you lift 5 more pounds? Yeah, I could, but it'll be heavy. It's like, well, slap it on. Like your goal is to get stronger. You got to get uncomfortable on these strength pieces. Your goal is to lose a little bit of weight. Well, you got to try to do a little bit more bonus work. You got to try to go a little bit faster in the Metcon. You got to turn off the temptation of going to sip on your water bottle in between an interval. No, don't do that. Get out there and run. Or, hey, I'm running in a Metcon. We're doing 400-meter runs before we're about to do some dumbbell snatches and pull-ups. Well, when you're running, you got to keep going. Don't start walking. Keep moving.
Don't listen to that little voice in your head that says, oh, just stop.
So the people who were able to finish that run, there was a huge difference in like the mental aspect. It wasn't necessarily because they were extremely fitter than the other runners. It's because mentally they removed the temptation. They were able to get uncomfortable and be okay with being uncomfortable. And I thought that was super
I feel
interesting to watch their mindset as they were filming it post documentary.
Absolutely. I feel like, just building off of what you're saying, I feel like the people who, accomplish incredible things or accomplish their goals, who maybe you admire in the gym or whatever in life, these people all share those same characteristics. And none of the characteristics are being fit or having the best genetics or stuff like that. Really, it boils down to their approach to their goals. So the mindset of being dedicated, but also being aggressive when pushing themselves, or being not taking no for an answer, trying to lift heavier weights, because it's okay if you try a heavier weight and you can't, let's say we're doing a back squat and you can't squat it. Well, then you take a little bit of weight off and you go back to a weight that you're physically able to squat. But if you don't put yourself in those positions, or you don't find your edge, you don't find that line of how hard can I push or how much weight can I lift, if you're always being conservative or if you're always holding yourself back, then you're limiting yourself from so much potential growth.
You're staying in that comfortable bubble instead of getting into that uncomfortable zone.
Our kind of challenge here, our discussion here is how can we, I guess our challenge as gym owners, you know, when Brandon and I are sitting at home and we're talking about building results and making this gym amazing for our clients, it's like, how can we help people get uncomfortable in a safe and effective way that's going to bring them closer to getting their results? Because I think probably one of the most common things that we talk about at home is like, oh, there's so much potential in this athlete, but they're not willing to go there, or I wish this person would push themselves a little more, or people are not attacking a workout. Like, how can we inspire people to get uncomfortable and to find their growth edge and just
push through,
keep pushing through? That's exactly what I was like, what is the word I want? Just like to find their edge and then push through their edge and make their edge even further and go a little bit further and get that extra rep. You know, one thing, just as I was just speaking right now, I thought about, and this is something that I've been trying to talk about a little bit more when I've been coaching classes, is that you go to the last second in the workout. You go until the clock is literally at 0. Let's say if it's a timed workout, instead of, oh, I don't want to pick up the dumbbells and there's only 5 more seconds, so I'll just be done here. You know, that one more rep, that right to the end, that pushing yourself, that mindset, it makes a difference. I feel like it makes such a difference in your mental capacity and your willingness to push yourself.
Yeah.
People who, they look at the timer and they see there's 10 seconds left and they just walk away from their barbell or their dumbbell. No. Keep going.
One more rep.
Go to the last second. You finish, let's say today you have double unders in the workout and then there's something after. You finish your double unders and there's only 3 seconds. See if you can get 1 rep of the next movement in. I don't know. It's just like that. You just want to light the fire under people and be like, go. This is what's going to bring you from medium skill to extreme skill, is chase mindset.
And I think it's important to say that as we're coaching people, we're not expecting people to push their limits every single time they walk into the gym. But it's good to do that sometimes. It's good to push yourself, lift a little bit more, go harder in a workout, challenge yourself, go a little bit heavier on the dumbbells, do a movement that you didn't think you could do, but practice it. Yeah, you know, if you're doing knee raises all the time, try to do leg raises. Try to, even if it takes you a couple extra seconds to do a little bit heavier of something, go for it in a safe way. But again, doesn't have to be every single time you come into the gym, but once a week, twice a week, push your limits, get uncomfortable, and you're going to come out of that workout learning so much about yourself, and you're going to be fired up after, because you're never going to push yourself at the end of a workout and think to yourself, wow, like I'm not good. But if you hold back when you're doing a workout and you didn't finish strong, you're going to probably have those more negative emotions towards yourself.
Or leave yourself wanting more at the end.
Yeah.
You've made the commitment to come to the gym. Let's get the most out of that session while you're here.
Yeah. Remove that comfortability on a everyday basis. Get uncomfortable, push your limits a little bit, and you're going to learn a ton about yourself.
That's what I'm telling a lot of people when they come in and they're brand new to the gym and they've never done CrossFit before or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? You've already done such a difficult part. Like coming into the gym today was scary. Like, making this commitment to try a completely new sport is definitely scary. So like now that you're here, let's give it all we got so that we can really improve. You've done the scary thing. You've gotten out of your comfort zone. You've come to a new establishment, you know.
Especially if you have goals. People want to lose weight and they think it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. You want to be able to squat heavier. It's not, you can't just say it out loud. You got to work hard. You got to get uncomfortable. So,
you can't
and for some people, just going to the gym is uncomfortable. And that's a huge win for the day. So the days that you're feeling really sluggish and you're like, wow, this couch is so comfortable right now. I am very comfortable watching Netflix right now. Get uncomfortable, just get to the gym. And sometimes that's going to be the biggest win. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be like in the workouts, but sometimes just going to the gym is going to be an uncomfortable feeling. And that's
I think something is to be said that having a gym membership doesn't guarantee you're going to get the results.
Sure doesn't, unfortunately. Can't just pay for it. You got to work for it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that just paying a gym membership is one of the steps. It's not the end all be all. What you do with that gym membership, how you choose to show up to the gym, how much work you put into your exercise, that's what's going to make the difference for getting results. Yes, you need to do all of the steps, and you do need to have some days where you remove the intensity and you work out like a cardio and cardio. You remove that intensity. Like, we're not saying go balls to the walls in every workout all the time, but take the approach to your membership or your gym or your workouts of, I'm going to get from this what I put into it. If I come in with a good mindset and I attack my workouts and I go to the last second and I try a little bit harder and I try and improve over time, I'm going to get leaps and bounds and benefits. If I do the bare minimum and pay the membership, but I'm not super consistent, I come maybe once a week, even though I'm paying for 3 times a week, and I'm usually late to the workout and I don't really push myself, don't expect results.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a challenge we have for you then.
Okay.
Lay it
on them, baby.
Challenge for all of you is one workout this week. Get really uncomfortable in a safe way. I'm not talking about loading up the bar at a weight that you cannot do, where you're like completely rounding your back to do a deadlift because coach said I need to get uncomfortable. We're talking about in a safe way. Yes. One aspect of your workout, one aspect of your life, get uncomfortable and push your limits here. Now, we have our client of the week, which is a really good client that goes super well with this topic.
She very much gets herself out of her comfort zone.
When she started with us in October, it was extremely uncomfortable for her. Let's tell the people who it is.
Shout out to Ashley.
Ooh. So Ashley
girl.
started foundations with me back in October.
Wait, before you go there, rewind.
Okay.
Ashley came to our opening event at the gym.
Oh, true that.
August 19th. She and her friends walked in here very curious about the gym. And she told me that she wanted to try. And I emailed her every week. We had a lot of time on our hands and we needed every client we could get. And I spoke to her over email like weekly. And I was like, hey, Ashley, like you said you wanted to come try. Let me know when you're available, blah, blah, blah. And she was kind of always like, yeah, I'm super interested, but I'm not sure. No. And at one point I said, do you want me to stop emailing you? Am I bothering you? You know what I mean? And she was like, no, like, you're not bothering me. I love it. You keep reminding me that I really want to do this. So I was like, okay. So I kept emailing her. And then 2 months later, enter foundations in October with Brandon, right?
Yeah, she did her trial with me. She did her foundations with me. It was once a week. She had told me that She was doing like online Pilates and online yoga. So she was doing things comfortably
at her house.
At her house from her computer. And she did explain to me on our first session that she does have Tourette's.
Right.
Which I know very little about.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that. I don't really know
much about it either.
But she did explain to me, and I think the first thing people think about when they think about Tourette's is like loud yelling or cursing, but that is not the case for Ashley at all. You would barely notice it if she was around you. She has little
I think
twitches,
we call them tics. I think.
Yeah, we should probably.
We did speak to Ashley, by the way, guys. If you're uncomfortable right now because you're like, oh, what are they telling us? We did speak to Ashley, and we got her permission to talk about this on the podcast, which she very graciously told us. And I think she's pretty open to talk about it and explain more in detail and inform people a little bit more about her Tourette's. But basically, she has like a few tics. It's a little bit. It's completely uncontrollable on her end.
Yep. And she was worried about having these episodes during or being in a group class because CrossFit is in a group class, and we were doing one-on-ones, so it's more controlled. It was off group hours because at that time we had no other coaches. So I was either coaching group classes and doing the foundations. So she was by herself, and she explained to me that she didn't want this to define who she is, or she doesn't let this define who she is, but it was a concern of hers, and she wanted to see how she would be in a group situation.
Right.
And it started up with one time per week. She would do one group per week. Actually, it was more kind of like one group every 2 to 3 weeks to start. And we just tried to keep pushing her to be a little bit more consistent. Then it became once every single week. And then it became twice every single week.
Yeah, girl.
And I would say she participated in the CrossFit Open, which was huge.
What an
for
accomplishment.
someone who
out of her comfort zone.
So out of her comfort zone. Someone who's only been doing CrossFit for 4 months, but also her attitude towards it, that she wasn't scared of it. She was like, yeah, sign me up. Like, it sounds fun. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah, she very much was like, I'm going to do my best, and I'm super excited to try. And that's super inspiring because it can be really intimidating, especially in that sort of more competitive atmosphere of the CrossFit Open.
Yeah.
She just totally attacked it.
And then since the Open finished in March.
March.
Yeah, started February, ended in March. She's been doing 3 times a week, and she's been super consistent. She's making serious gains. She's pretty tall, but very, very thin.
Very lean.
And when she started, she moved very well, squatting. Like she said, she did Pilates and yoga, so she moves extremely well, has great mobility. What she lacked was the strength department. And this girl was front squatting like over 100 pounds for like 3 reps or something. Like she's been pushing herself on the weightlifting side of things.
Yeah,
she is getting uncomfortable because she knows that she moves really well, but where she lacks is the strength. But instead of shying away, which a lot of people who are maybe
nervous about
weightlifting will shy away from lifting heavy, but she attacks it, and she says, you know what, if I fail, then I fail. I've just learned from that. But she gets out of her comfort zone to push the weights.
I love watching her.
She's been pushing in the Metcons also. The cool thing is, not only have I been able to coach her for many months now, but over the last couple months since we've had other coaches working here, I've been able to participate more in the group classes.
Right.
And I've done many workouts alongside her, and she's so motivating to work out next to. And so it's been a really great experience. I'm super fortunate that I got to meet her. I'm super fortunate that she walked in to our gym. She even gave it a try.
Vulnerable with us since the beginning, which has been really touching.
Yeah, she's been crushing it. She's been getting uncomfortable, and she has been witnessing the results of her effort, and she's killing it.
Right. And I think that maybe her initial fear that her Tourette's would be in any which way like a awkward or a limiting factor or something that she felt uncomfortable around a group from. I hope that we have made her feel extremely comfortable. I believe that is the case based on our conversations with her. And she's just overcame not only just the regular amount of things that you have to overcome when you join a new gym, but her own obstacles as well.
Yeah, she's killing in her workouts, but also killing life. She's doing so well.
Yeah, 10 on 10. She works taking
hard.
The bull by the horns.
She works hard. She's a vet technician right across the street from our gym, which is cool. But she's been working really hard.
Saving lives.
Saving animal lives, which is the most important. But, but yeah, she's killing life. Ashley, we know you listen to this podcast, so thank you for being such an awesome member.
Right. And thank you for teaching us too a little bit about Tourette's too, which has been
Everyone goes. There's so many people go through their own unique experiences.
I think that's something also like a takeaway is like you never know what someone else is living with or going through or happening in their life. So showing up with a smile, being positive, attacking your workout, getting out of your comfort zone. It's very, very, very impressive, and I love watching our members do that.
CrossFit is for anyone.
Anyone.
All right, let's end it on that note. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 10 of the podcast. Please share this with a friend. Share this on social media.
Yes. Go out. Well, maybe link in the show notes the YouTube of the movie that we were talking about. It's like an hour and a half. It's super worth a watch if you like watching people do crazy things. The Barkley Marathons, the race that eats their young. It's super funny. And remember, for our members and anybody, our challenge for you guys this week is to push yourself a little bit more, get out of your comfort zone, and attack a workout.
Love it.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Bye.